It's a lot. Say, are you out there? Mm-hmm. Quit. Go away. Ow. Ow. Hi, kitty. I'm so bad at this. The next thing, I say so many times. Oh my god, I'm talking so fast, I can't breathe. Bubbles, can I have a here? This is a lot. You have eye boogers! You have eye boogers! Oh, just get the boogie! You naked girl. Bubbles, are you the bestest doggy in the whole world? Are you just so hard? Don't come here. Why am I so weird? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey. I am here with another video I posted on my Instagram this morning. Which video y'all would like to see next? And by a landslide, it was how much my horse costs. How much my horse costs. How much my horses cost. So I wrote everything down. And I'm a little shook. I am a little shook how much this costs. I don't think I've ever actually like calculated it out monthly, because like when like vet bills and stuff like that just kind of come up, like you usually just pay it all at once. So this is good information for those who are looking to get a horse. I wouldn't say I'm the extreme of overspending on your horses. I mean, this is a lot of realistic stuff. Like, I'm not including in this like saddle pads, tack, that sort of thing, because we all know that I have a problem with that. This is just like legit. Like, this is the stuff that is like required maintenance for a horse, and a couple things that some people don't do, but I think is required maintenance. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing obviously is board. So board for horses is expensive. I fortunately have a barn that I board at that is very affordable, and they don't charge for a whole lot of extra stuff. She's just the most amazing woman in the whole world. So board for my horses, and I have two, 10 and Theo, is $425 a month. So that is $850 a month just in board. That covers all of the care, that covers the grain, that covers hay, all of it. Next thing on top of that is supplements. So most boarding barns give each horse like the basic, the minimum. I mean, I personally am a big advocate on horses, like a barn owner saying, you know, we give this much amount of food. And I mean, they can tailor different programs to different horses, but they shouldn't be responsible if your horse needs a lot of extra stuff, if that makes sense. So especially if, so say your horse is not gaining weight, but they show all the signs of ulcers, and you haven't treated the ulcers, but you're getting mad because your horse isn't gaining weight, but you're blaming it on the barn for not feeding them enough, when really they're actually feeding the horse in line with what they probably should be eating, but you haven't done like the treatment. I'm about to go through a wormhole with that, but we'll just stop there. So they give the basics, the bare, I don't want to say the bare minimum, but boarding facilities, give your horse the grain, the hay. Everything else additional is on the boarder, in my personal opinion. So my supplements that I give both of my horses, they are on Platinum Performance CJ, which is $266 a month for the big tub of it. And since I have 2 horses, that lasts me a month. Normally it'd be like $157 or something a month for just one horse. So both 10 and Theo are on that. They get 2 scoops a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and that is $266 per month. The next thing that I give is just plain old-fashioned corn oil, and that is just for calories and for coat health. It's basic. Some people don't agree with it. Some people don't think it works, but unfortunately, I've tried Equine Omega Complete. I've tried the DAC oil. I've tried the cocoa soya oil, and honest to God, corn oil works just the same for me. I didn't notice a huge difference on 10 with any of those. So I get I think it's a 2.5 or 2.7 gallon thing from Costco. I believe it's $17.99. I couldn't find it online, and since like we're all like under quarantine right now, I'm not about to risk my life to go into Costco to look for the price of it. So I would say roughly about $18 is what I put down. The next thing, and this is new, but I'm going to include it in here anyway because I bought it. It is a magnesium oil from Nupa Feed. That bottle is $139 a month. It lasts for 60 to 90 days, but since I have 2 horses, I'm just going to assume we're going to be at like the $139 a month. I haven't noticed a huge difference yet, but it has only been, I want to say, a week and a half, 2 weeks that they've been on it. So I'll probably try and film it like video or something of that nature. Probably not, but I'll probably post it on my Instagram and see if I like it. The next thing, and they have been on this for quite a while, I feed 1 pound in the morning and evening of Buckeye Grow and Win. So it's a protein, like ration balancer, I think, or something of that nature, but that is, I get it off Chewy, and I just get it shipped to my house. I get 4 bags a month, and I think they're $18.99 a bag if you have it on auto ship like I do. So we'll call that roughly $80 a month. The next thing I give, and the last supplement that I give, is the Buckeye Ultimate Finish 100. It is a white powder. I don't know how big the bag is. I'll put it. So the Buckeye Ultimate Finish costs about $45 for a bag, and 1 bag usually lasts me about 2 months. So I'm just gonna say $45 a month. We'll just call it that because that gets kind of made up for in saddle pads somewhere else. So the next thing I do is before and after I ride, I usually give them just like a handful of alfalfa pellets before I ride, so that way they have something in their stomach. The alfalfa is really good for neutralizing acid in the stomach, and yes, so I get those from either Tractor Supply or Rural King, and I think they are $11.99 for a bag, and I usually get 2 of them a month, so we'll call that $25 a month. So they get that. The next thing, which sometimes this can be every other month, lately it's been every month for Theo, just because I haven't had him that long, and 10, whom I've had for quite a while, but he gets every other-ish. But either way, we'll just call it every month. Get them a chiropractic adjustment, and the chiropractor that I use is $95 for an adjustment, which is actually really good. Normally they're anywhere between $120 to $150, but she costs $95 a month, so double that. That's how much you get. The next thing, and this is something because I am sponsored, so she does them, or I'm an ambassador, so I don't actually pay for these, but I did before. So they're $65 a month, and it is a massage, one massage a month. And so 65 times 2, yeah, I'll put the math up here. So the last thing that is more so on a monthly basis is the Farrier. So both of my horses get all 4 shoes and trims, and they are on an every 6 to 8 week schedule. Sometimes it can be a little bit sooner, sometimes it can be a little bit later. So the way I calculated this, it's $200 per horse per shoeing. So $400 each time the Farrier comes out. Lucky me. And so I calculated that thinking that if it's every 7 weeks, they'd get done about 8 times a year. And 8 times 400 divided by 12 gave me $267 a month, basically, for my horse's shoes. I forgot a couple things. So I take 2 lessons a week, 1 on Theo, 1 on 10. So I, on average, have 8 lessons a month. Sometimes I do 3 a week. It just kind of depends. So I probably spend about $300 a month in lessons. At a minimum, it's 2 a week, so $240 a month, but typically I do more than that. It just kind of depends on our schedule. So $300 a month on lessons, and then occasionally my trainer will either do a training ride or she will do a lunging session. For any kind of training like thing, it's $10. So I would say she does maybe like once a week or something, she'll get on and do something with the horses. So we'll call that $40 a month. So that is all of the like monthly costs that I pay for regularly. That is like I'm kind of committed to each month. So that is this much a month. On to yearly costs. There are multiple things like a year that like you'll have to do, and sometimes these can vary, but right now typically the horses get their teeth done twice a year. They are 7, but I do find that each horse is different, and it looks like they start needing them done about the 6-month mark. So my equine dentist, I don't use a vet, I use an equine dentist. Nothing really against vets, but I personally have had a horse done that was like literally done a couple weeks before, and then the equine dentist looked at them and there were still so many sharp points that they missed. So I just do an equine dentist. I think they're the best. That's all they do. They don't do anything else. So if you're having bitting problems or your horse isn't wanting to work or they seem fidgety in their mouth, have an equine dentist come out and check their teeth. But mine is very affordable, thank the Lord. And they will get done twice a year, once a year, depending. You know, I have him checked every time he comes out for a different horse. I just have him look at mine just to make sure. So at a minimum, once a year, but most likely 2 times a year. And he is $125 each time he comes out. So $500 a year. The next thing is insurance. So I have both of my horses insured. I have them insured for emergency medical, for mortality, and whatnot. So that is, I think it was like a little, like $1,500. I'm just calling it $1,600 a year. So for both policies, for 10 and Theo, they are both insured up to a certain amount for mortality. So unfortunately, if they ever, please never, if for whatever reason something would happen and they would no longer be here, the insurance would pay you out for the amount for the horse. So mine are insured up to a certain amount. And yes, so the next thing is shots. So I get them a 5-way shot, and the vet that does my shots is very affordable because there's usually not anything in the horse world that is affordable. I don't understand why everything has to be so expensive. But I would say it's about $150 a year per horse for shots. So that's the 5-way when they need it. That is Coggins that needs to be pulled every year. The strangles, like up the nose thing. And yeah, so that's like all the shots that they get per year. The next thing is something that unfortunately is one of those things that with thoroughbreds, you just kind of, it happens. Ulcers. So I typically end up having to treat 10 once a year for ulcers, and it could have been like a situation where he got all real stressed out somewhere, which then catapulted him into this just like crazy, I don't know. So when he starts looking and seeming like he's ulcery, I will treat him, and I will treat him for 28 days with GastroGuard, and that typically costs about $1,500 for the 28 days. So I kind of budget that into my yearly expense just in case, because ulcers suck. All right, so the next couple things are maintenance. My horses get a lot more maintenance than I think most would, because I prefer to try to solve it before it starts becoming an issue and starts throwing things off in the body. And that's just kind of my mentality. But 10 had a pole injury, and I can go into all of that in another video if you are interested. But 10 had a pole injury, and he has to have shockwave, well, I would say every year. So every year in the fall, he will get shockwave on his pole. So that costs $350 every time that he gets shockwaved. The next thing he typically gets his hocks done 2 to 4 times a year. Recently, it has been nice that it's not been every 3 months. He actually had a really hard racing career, so he's got a lot of body issues that I have to maintain. So his hocks getting injected are $300 a time each time that they get injected. So at a minimum, $600 a year. Then once his hocks get injected, then it's time for his stifles. So I will either go back and forth between either injecting the stifles or blistering the stifles. So there's a difference between the two. And I can put like a link to which one is which, because I'm obviously not a vet, so I don't describe it very well. But as far as 10 goes, it's been better. He's been better if we blistered them. So blistering is, I think, $100 for his stifles to get blistered, and he typically gets them 2 times a year. So I've had them done twice now, and he has also gotten his hocks injected once this year, or last year. So I would say we're looking at $400 for a year for his stifles, $600 for his hocks. The Theo is probably going to have to get his hocks done once a year. I just recently got them done, so those are $300 through my vet. And that is, yes, that is the amount for the year, which is this. And breaking that down monthly is this. Okay, now last but certainly not least, the occasional, like, if I want to do them, if I have the money to do them, things would be MagnaWave. I think 10 probably would get MagnaWave done 3 to 6 times a year, and they are $65 a time, so that amount a year. Horse shows. Horse shows is this wormhole that you can go down, and it's just, they can get so expensive. Right now, I've only done schooling shows, so I can only speak on that regard of how much those are, but I would do typically 1 a month, sometimes 2 a month, it just kind of depends. Right now, obviously, there are no horse shows, but going back into it, I probably will not be showing as much, not because I don't want to or because it's expensive, just because it's been kind of nice not showing, if that makes sense. It got so stressful, and I think I'll probably do like one every 2 months, or one every 2 months. So every other month I'll probably do a show. So the horse shows will cost anywhere from, I would say the cheapest one I've done is $240, and that was a dressage show. I did 5 tests, and that included the tests and the stalls and office fees. I would say on average you're gonna be around $300-ish for a schooling show, depending on how many classes you're doing, how much the classes are, but I would say we'd be roughly anywhere between 5 to 8 shows a year-ish. So, I mean, that's one of those things that it really kind of depends. So I'm not gonna necessarily include that in like the monthly estimates, but just know that horse shows in this area for a schooling show for a weekend is anywhere from $240 to $550-ish a month. So that, I'm sure there's things I'm missing, but that's really all I could think of right now. I do spend a lot on tack and saddle pads and stuff like that, but that's usually only when I have like when I close on a house and I get a commission check, so I go shopping when that happens. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Pray for my bank accounts because these horses are so freaking expensive, but I would not have it any other way. I love providing top-notch care for them, and I am so proud of how great my horses look and how they perform, so I would not downgrade this care in any way. So that's the tea. That's how much your girl spends on a monthly basis. The grand total being, again, it's a lot. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it gives future people that want to own horses an idea of how to ruin their lives with horses. But for real, horses are expensive. They're not something to take lightly, and you really need to make sure you budget to have them. So that is how much I spend on my horses in a month, and I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any time that I post a video, which is very sporadic. Sometimes there's 3 a month, sometimes there's 3 a week, sometimes there's 1 a week, but I try to post at least a new video every week. I thoroughly enjoy talking with you guys in the comments and through my Instagram, so don't be afraid to say hi, reach out if you have any questions. Feel free to message me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Do you love me? Paisley, come here. Come here, Paisley. Get in here. Come on. Paisley. 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 Hi. Are you just gonna roll over on the cat? Are you the queen? Are you the queen of the house? Don't look at him like that. Paisley, that was mean. You are a bad girl. You're a chunky girl. Look at that chunk. Quarantine's hit you hard, huh, girl?